Harvest is a masterpiece. Of all the King of the Hill maps in the game, this is the one that lives closest to my heart. It's a map I go back to time and time again. But why? I mean, why do I love this map so much? Magic. It's a magical map, I think. But in all reality, it was released on October 29th, 2009 by Sean Coutinho, the developer, and it's only had one minor update, and that was in 2014, so that was 14 years ago, 2009. We're all boomers at this point. Anyway, it was released alongside the one and the only Ghastly Gibbous, so it's safe to say that Halloween 2009 was a complete banger. I was probably out, being a kid trick-or-treating like a complete loser instead of playing Team Fortress 2 like I should have. So when Harvest was being developed, it was actually being developed as an arena map, and you can still get a sense that it's designed to be an arena map, despite it now being a King of the Hill map, because, I mean, let's be honest, the main objective is not to capture the control point, it's to just kill everybody that you see. It's kind of like Hightower in that regard, but without matches lasting 4 hours, so that's nice. So now let's talk about some map specifics. Well, I think Sean Coutinho absolutely nailed the Team Fortress 2 art style, because I think TF2, the art style really shines when it's this rural, kind of dusty atmosphere, and you see that in, well, Dust Bowl. It's a rural, dusty atmosphere, and that map is iconic. Same with, say, Badwater or Upward, just these rural, just desolate locations, and I think that's when Team Fortress 2, the art style really stands out above anything else. Sean Coutinho nailed Harvest when he created the art style, because it fits in perfectly with all the other Team Fortress 2 maps. It doesn't stick out like a sore thumb, and it's that farm, it's that serene landscape juxtaposed with all the chaos going on, everybody blowing up each other. It's this beautiful contrast. It's like the color's orange and the color's blue, Blue and orange. Perfect contrast. Harvest is symmetrical, which is common for a lot of FPS maps, but actually kind of uncommon for Team Fortress 2. A lot of the bigger maps, such as the attack and defend maps or the payload maps, are totally asymmetrical, and those are the most played game modes. So to have a symmetrical map means that the advantages are the same for each team, and it just means may the better team win. Harvest itself is a very simple map. The Team Fortress 2 wiki says that there are 3 points on the map. I believe there's a 4th point. There's the main shed in the middle, there's the 2 farmhouses on either end, there's the 2 side sheds, and then this is the point that I'm coming up with. There are 2 spawn houses that are located outside the spawns. We'll get into that later. But let's start by talking about the main shed. Chaos. It's absolute chaos, yeah. The main shed is where most of the action goes on. It's where the control point is, and there's 2 main entrances on each side, and there's also a super secret 3rd entrance that's not that secret. It's a giant gaping hole in the roof. It's where the soldiers and the demo men can come in through. This place becomes an absolute, utter madhouse whenever the pub actually decides to push at the end of the game. And I know, a pub actually making a coordinated push, it's impossible, but it happens. You've got these ubered heavy medic combos coming in there, and they're just killing everybody. Then you got the pyros, and they're just being the nuisance. They're burning everybody. You got scouts running in there. They die instantly. I mean, it's pathetic. If Harvest were a Gordon Ramsay restaurant, then the main shed in the middle, that's the beef Wellington. It's what everybody comes to the restaurant for. Everybody comes to Harvest for the shed. Oh yeah, you've also got engineers building sentries on the point, which I don't know how that's allowed, considering that's not allowed in almost any other Team Fortress 2 map. So now let's talk about the 2 side sheds. Obviously, these are not as big as the main sheds, and they're also not going to attract as many people, but they are very important. They both house a medium med kit in each one, which becomes a highly sought after commodity, because medics are somewhat rare on Harvest, if we're being honest, so any healing becomes huge, and those are some of the biggest healing items in the entire map. Yeah, it's going to get chaotic in those side sheds. The next point, these are the 2 large farmhouses. They're big, they're bad, and they're impossible to miss. They're right in front of your spawn. These are great for support classes to hang out inside. You've got the snipers, they're on the top floor, and they've got the med kit and the ammo to keep them company. You've also got engineers in the farmhouse. They're building up their sentry nests inside there. It's a great point to get started as a support class. And you've also got the roof of the farmhouse, which is extremely important for the soldiers and the demo men. They can rocket or sticky jump onto the roof, and then they can jump off of it and go into the actual point through the broken roof of the shed. So they just do 2 jumps and they're already on the point. It's extremely fast, extremely effective. Now, since I don't want this video to be 5 hours long, about as long as a high tower game, I just want to briefly go over all the classes. Essentially, every single class is useful. Scouts, they really excel at capping the point when nobody's looking. They can run in there and with their double cap speed very quickly get a capture for their team. And they're also great at harassing players on the outskirts of the map. When you get towards the middle of the map, around the actual control point, they fall very quickly to, say, heavies or soldiers. So just stay on the outskirts. Soldiers are extremely powerful in Harvest. As mentioned earlier, they can simply exit the spawn, rocket jump onto the roof of the farmhouse, and then rocket jump from there into the main shed. And with a pain train, they get the double capture speed that the scout has, and all of a sudden they're just a fat flying scout with more powerful weapons. They're extremely strong on this map. And if you see a sentry that's out in the open, they're the best class at taking them out, especially with the direct hit. Pyros, they serve one main role, and that is to WM1 all the way to victory. Just run onto the control point and just burn people, because it's close quarters, it's covered so that you can get in nice and close to everybody, and also the lack of medics. There's barely any medics on the map, so your afterburn's gonna do a ton of damage regardless of how long you're actually shooting them. Afterburn does a lot of damage on its own. Demos serve a very similar role to the soldiers on this map, because they also can instantly leave the spawn, sticky jump onto the roof of the farmhouse, and then sticky jump from there onto the control point. They're also great at taking out sentries that are behind cover with their bouncing grenades. Soldiers aren't quite as good as that, and because engineers can build on the actual capture point itself, again, I don't know why, but because they can do that, demo men are very good at taking it out. Demo knights are also extremely strong because of the close quarters, and it's still a little bit open in the middle, so you got time to get your charges going and deal in that extra damage. I've seen demo knights go on kill streaks that last pretty much the entire game. I mean, it couldn't be me, but I've seen it happen. Heavies by themselves are good at mostly one thing, and that is capturing and also holding the control point. Because of the close quarters, the minigun can just shred. It can shred even the pyros that come on the point. With a pocket medic though, the heavy is utterly insane. They can hold the point way better than almost any other class at that point, and that medic also gives them a little extra breathing room. They can all of a sudden leave the control point without instantly getting gunned down. Engineers, Engies, they're annoying on this map. They're really annoying. Yeah, they can build, again, their sentries on the control point, which I don't understand why, because it's not allowed on any other map as far as I know. If you want to win, just stack some engineers up, get some sentry nests going, you're gonna win. Battle engineers are also extremely powerful, but their playstyle is different. They're obviously more mobile, and they're also allowed to build up their mini sentries in more obscure open locations, because it costs just so little to build them that you're not missing out on much if it gets destroyed. So why not build it on the roof of the farmhouse or by the side shed where people aren't really expecting them? Because, I mean, if they get destroyed, it's no big deal. And they're constantly going to be harassing players and just chipping their life away. Might not get that many frags, but it will help your team overall. Now, I mentioned this earlier. Medics are a bit rare on Harvest, but that doesn't mean they're not extremely powerful. I mean, medics are always going to be powerful. They're always going to be one of, if not the most powerful class in the entire game. They can totally change the tide of battle, really. The key to a medic on Harvest, simply heal everybody. You're not going to be able to get your uber charge up 90% of the time, because with the chaos of Harvest, you're just going to get random critted or something's going to happen and you're going to lose your uber charge. The medic is good for one main reason, and that is keeping people on the point. You don't have them venturing out for those medkits anymore if you're able to just heal them and keep them on the point. Uber charges, on the other hand, aren't quite as required as just healing everybody, because, like it or not, you're probably going to die a lot on this map. It's complete chaos, as I mentioned. You're probably going to get to 50% uber charge before you get blown up by some soldier. Getting an uber charge requires coordination, and coordination in a pub match is impossible. And one final thing, medics are actually kind of good at killing people on this map. The melee weapons and the random crits, because of the close quarters, just just whack people, you know? Now, despite the small size of the map, snipers are actually surprisingly effective. They can either hide in the farmhouse and again, just shoot out the windows at the heavier classes, or they can go on top of the spawn houses and do the same thing. Now, if sentries are the problem, if it's not the heavy classes coming onto the point, if sentries are your problem, I highly recommend going Huntsman Sniper, because that gives you a bit more mobility, and you also charge much quicker, and sentries, you know, being stationary, you can take them out in like one shot. It's super easy. And finally, we get to talk about the spy. The spy's the spy. It just kind of plays like a spy. Just walk around the outskirts of the map and just backstab people, keep people paranoid, go after the snipers, go after the heavies, go after the medics, go after the essential classes that are going to do a lot of damage to your team. Don't go after the scouts. Well, go after the scouts if you want. I don't care. They're easy kills sometimes. But just target the bigger classes. Target the bigger classes. Oh, and get those engineers. Get those engineers that are building up on the control point, because man, is that annoying. Basically, the point of this video, if there is a point of this video, which I'm not sure if there is, but it's saying that Harvest is a masterpiece because it's balanced, and I know that's probably gonna get me a bunch of dislikes, but I think it's balanced because every class really serves a role in this map, which isn't exactly true for every single map. This map has received only one update, one update since it was released, and it was extremely minor in 2014. It was just a couple bug patches. Harvest is a microcosm of everything that makes Team Fortress 2 good, and it's all packed into under 10-minute rounds, which is, again, it's like Hightower, all the chaos of Hightower, but instead of being 10 hours long, it's 10 minutes long. Every class has a real purpose on this map. And even though each round kind of plays similar to one another, this map is still extremely addicting. I mean, I played this map for hours straight before, which I've never done on any other Team Fortress 2 map. Harvest is peak Team Fortress 2, and in my opinion, the king of the Hill maps. Well, if you stuck around this long, I got one simple question. What is your favorite map in Team Fortress 2? I'd love to hear it. And again, I really appreciate if you stuck around this long. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Hey, you, don't be a fool. Did you know that a salty Bendro will show that you are super cool? Hey, you, a like will show you rule. It's totally free and guarantee your help will be my fuel.